The city was quiet that evening. The streetlights glowed faintly and the sound of cars had already faded away. Mr. Rayner, a wealthy businessman and single father, sat alone in his large mansion. His life looked perfect from the outside: big house, expensive cars, and endless money. But inside he lived with one fear: losing his only son, Daniel. Daniel was 10 years old, smart and curious. He often asked questions that even teachers could not answer. Mr. Rayner loved him deeply, but he also controlled him strictly. He wanted Daniel to stay safe, to study hard, and to never talk to strangers. That night, Mr. Rayner noticed something unusual. Daniel was not in his room. The bed was empty, the books were still on the table, and the window was slightly open. A wave of fear hit him. He rushed outside, his heart beating faster with every step. In the garden behind the mansion, he saw a shadow. Daniel was sitting on the ground, and beside him was a girl. She looked no older than 14, thin and dressed in torn clothes. Her hair was messy, her skin pale, and her face carried the look of someone who had been hungry for many days. But what shocked Mr. Rayner most were her eyes. They glowed faintly in the dark, soft silver light like the stars themselves had entered her. Mr. Rayner froze. Who was she? Why was she here? He hid behind a tree and listened. The girl spoke slowly, carefully. Her voice was gentle but strange, as if she had learned English only recently. She pointed at the dirt on the ground, where she had drawn strange shapes. They were not normal drawings. They were patterns, lines, and symbols like maps of the stars. Daniel sat beside her, his small hands covered in soil, trying to copy the same symbols. He looked excited, his eyes wide with wonder. Again, Daniel said softly. Show me again. The girl smiled weakly. This, she said, pointing to a spiral shape, is not just a star. It is a door. A door between worlds. Mr. Rayner's chest tightened. What nonsense was this? Why was his son listening to a homeless girl talking about stars and doors? But as he watched, he realized something strange. Daniel understood her. He was repeating her words, drawing her symbols with surprising speed as if he had always known them. Mr. Rayner felt two emotions at once: fear and curiosity. Fear, because his son was with a stranger who was clearly not normal. Curiosity, because those glowing eyes and strange drawings seemed real, too real. The girl's voice dropped lower. You learn fast. Faster than most humans. Humans? Mr. Rayner's heart skipped a beat. Did she just say humans, as if she was not one? Daniel leaned closer, whispering, Why do you know all this? The girl paused. For a moment, her glowing eyes dimmed as if shadows passed inside them. Because I am not from here, she finally said. And because you will need this knowledge one day. Mr. Rayner nearly stepped out, ready to shout and pull his son away. But something inside stopped him. He wanted to hear more. The girl drew another shape, this time a circle with arrows pointing outward. Your world is not safe. There are others watching. You must be ready. Daniel frowned, his young mind trying to understand. Ready for what? The girl looked at him with sadness. For the storm that is coming. At that moment, a cold wind passed through the garden, shaking the trees. Mr. Rayner felt a chill down his spine. He could not stay hidden anymore. His son was in danger. Or at least, that was what his protective heart told him. He stepped out from behind the tree, his shoes crunching the gravel. Daniel turned around, surprised. The girl's glowing eyes widened, and for the first time, fear appeared on her face. Dad, Daniel said quickly. Please don't be angry. Mr. Rayner's deep voice cut the silence. Who are you? What are you doing with my son? The girl stood up slowly. She did not run. She did not beg. She looked straight at him with those strange silver eyes. I am only teaching him, she said softly. Please let me continue. Mr. Rayner's anger boiled. Teaching him? Teaching him what? Lies? Dangerous ideas? He took a step closer, his tall figure casting a shadow over the small girl. You stay away from my son, he said firmly. If you come near him again, you will regret it. Daniel's face fell. Dad, she's not bad. She knows things even my teachers don't. But Mr. Rayner would not listen. He grabbed Daniel's arm, pulling him back toward the house. The girl did not move. She simply lowered her head and whispered almost to herself. He will need it. Very soon. Her words echoed in Mr. Rayner's mind as he dragged his son inside. That night, Mr. Rayner could not sleep. He kept thinking about the girl, about the glowing eyes, about the strange symbols in the dirt, about her words, "He will need it." Was she crazy, or was she telling the truth? He did not know. But deep inside he felt something he had not felt in years, a sense of danger and the strange fear that this was only the beginning. The next morning the mansion looked calm, but inside Mr. Rayner's heart was still restless. He had not slept well. Again and again he remembered the strange girl's silver eyes and her whisper, "He will need it." He told himself it was nonsense. Just a hungry, homeless girl with a wild imagination. Still, one question would not leave his mind. How did she know those strange symbols? And why did Daniel understand them so easily? At breakfast, Daniel was unusually quiet. He pushed his food around the plate instead of eating. Mr. Rayner watched him carefully. "Daniel," he said slowly, "you are not to see that girl again. Do you understand me?" Daniel nodded, but he did not look at his father. His small hands clutched the fork tightly as if hiding something. Mr. Rayner sighed. He had raised Daniel alone since his wife died years ago. He thought he knew his son's every habit, every secret. But last night proved something. His boy was keeping things from him. Things connected to that girl. Later that day, when Mr. Rayner left for work, he ordered the guards to keep an eye on Daniel. Yet deep down, he knew his son was clever. If Daniel wanted to meet her again, he would find a way, and he was right. That evening, Mr. Rayner returned earlier than usual. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Daniel was missing again, anger mixed with fear as he rushed outside. He followed the garden path, heart pounding, until he saw them. There, in the same spot under the old oak tree, Daniel sat cross-legged on the ground. And beside him, the alien girl. She was drawing again, but this time not in dirt. She had found pieces of chalk and was sketching on the stone pavement. Strange spirals, numbers, and star maps covered the ground like a secret code. Daniel copied every mark quickly, his eyes shining with excitement. His small voice broke the silence. "So this means energy?" he asked. The girl nodded gently. "Yes, energy that flows through all living things. Energy that your people do not yet understand." Mr. Rayner hid behind the wall, frozen. He had planned to storm in, but now he listened. Something about her words pulled him in. Daniel pointed to a symbol like a triangle within a circle. "And this? Is it real?" The girl's glowing eyes softened. "It is real. It is a map. A path to the stars. One day you will follow it." Daniel's face lit up, full of wonder. "But why me?" The girl paused. Her voice dropped to a whisper, almost trembling. "Because you can see what others cannot. Your mind, it opens doors." A chill ran down Mr. Rayner's back. "Doors to where?" Minutes passed. Neither of them noticed the father watching. The girl continued to teach silently, her thin hands moving gracefully across the pavement. Her movements were slow, deliberate, almost sacred. Daniel absorbed everything like a sponge. He repeated the patterns without hesitation. His young brain moved faster than the chalk itself. Finally, the girl placed her hand on the ground over the largest spiral she had drawn. "This," she said, "is not just knowledge. It is protection. If you understand it, you will survive what is coming." Daniel looked at her, eyes wide. "What is coming?" The girl's voice grew heavy. "Hunters. Shadows that move between worlds. They will search for me, and when they find me, they will find this world too." Mr. Rayner's chest tightened. He wanted to scream at her to stop filling his son's head with such madness. But something inside held him still. Her silver eyes glowed brighter as she continued. "You, Daniel, must learn. Because when they come, your father's money will not protect you. Walls will not protect you. Only knowledge will." At that moment, Daniel reached out, placing his small hand over the chalk drawing. His lips moved softly as he repeated her words, almost like a prayer. And then something terrifying happened. The spiral on the ground began to glow faintly. Not brightly, but enough to shimmer under the moonlight. Mr. Rayner's breath caught in his throat. Was it a trick of the eyes? Or had the symbols truly come alive? Daniel gasped, pulling back his hand. "Did I do that?" The girl gave a weak smile. "Yes, you are ready to begin." Mr. Rayner could not stay hidden any longer. He stepped forward, his voice sharp. "Enough!" Both Daniel and the girl turned quickly. "Father," Daniel started, but Mr. Rayner cut him off. "You," he said, pointing at the girl. "What are you doing to him?" The girl stood slowly, her thin frame trembling from exhaustion. I am giving him the truth. A truth you cannot buy with your wealth. Her words struck him like a knife. For years, Mr. Rayner had believed money could solve anything. But this girl spoke as if she saw straight through him. He clenched his fists. Stay away from my son. Do you hear me? But Daniel's voice broke through, desperate. Dad, please. She's not lying, I felt it. The drawing, it moved. You saw it too, didn't you? Mr. Rayner froze. His son's eyes searched his, begging for honesty. He wanted to deny it, to say it was only imagination. But deep down, he knew the truth. He had seen it shimmer. The girl's soft voice echoed in the night. You fear me. But one day you will thank me. He is your son, yes, but he belongs to the future as well. For a long moment, the garden was silent. Only the chalk drawings glowed faintly before fading back into the stone. Mr. Rayner grabbed his son's hand, pulling him away. But unlike the night before, doubt now lived inside him. He could no longer convince himself she was just a homeless girl. Something far greater was happening. And it terrified him. The mansion was quiet again, but Mr. Rayner's mind was not. For 2 nights in a row, he had seen his son with the strange alien girl. Twice he had warned her to stay away. Twice she had returned. This time he decided it had to end. The next evening, when Daniel slipped out of the house again, Mr. Rayner followed him. But unlike before, he did not hide. He walked straight into the garden, his footsteps heavy, his face hard. Daniel froze when he saw him. The girl, thin and pale, looked up from her chalk drawings. Her silver eyes glowed faintly in the dark. Mr. Rayner's deep voice cut the silence. No more secrets. He pointed at her. We'll explain yourself now. The girl stood slowly. She looked fragile, as if a strong wind could blow her away. Yet there was something unshakable in her gaze. She did not run. She did not beg. She only said in a soft, calm voice, I am not here to harm him. I only want to teach. Mr. Rayner's anger boiled. Teach? What could you possibly teach my son? You're a stranger. A runaway. Maybe worse. Daniel stepped forward, his young voice pleading. Dad, please. She knows things. She's not lying. Just listen. But the father's eyes never left the girl. Enough of these riddles. Who are you, really? Where do you come from? The girl lowered her head, silent for a moment. Then she whispered words that sent a chill through the night. I come from beyond this world. Mr. Rayner's fists clenched. His instincts told him to throw her out immediately. Yet his heart skipped a beat at those words. Beyond this world. Could she truly mean another planet? Daniel's face lit with wonder. I knew it. I knew you weren't like everyone else. Mr. Rayner's voice grew sharp. Stop filling his head with fantasies. But the girl lifted her eyes, silver light shimmering. It is not fantasy. It is truth. And he must learn, because he will need it. Her words echoed again, the same warning he had heard before. He stepped closer, towering over her. Need it for what? For the first time, her voice trembled. For survival. Silence fell heavy. Daniel looked between them, confused. Survival? From what? The girl's thin hands pressed against the chalk symbols on the stone. Her voice was low, almost trembling. Hunters. They are searching. They destroyed my people, and soon, they will come here. Mr. Rayner's chest tightened. The words sounded insane. Hunters from another world? But the way she said them, the sadness in her voice did not sound like lies. He shook his head firmly. I don't believe you. My son is not your experiment. You stay away, or I'll make sure you disappear. The girl's silver eyes dimmed as if a shadow passed over them, yet she did not argue. She simply whispered, If you silence me now, you silence his chance to prepare. Daniel tugged at his father's sleeve. Dad, please. She's telling the truth. You saw the symbols glow. You felt it too. Mr. Rayner's throat went dry. He had wanted to forget that moment, the faint shimmer of light from the chalk spiral. But Daniel's words dragged it back into his mind. Was it a trick of his tired eyes? Or had something truly happened? The girl took a step closer, her weak frame shaking but her voice steady. You love your son. I can see it. That is why you fear me. But I swear I am not your enemy. I only want to give him the knowledge to survive what is coming. Her words hit him harder than he expected. She spoke not with arrogance but with quiet desperation. Still, Mr. Rayner could not trust her. His whole life had been built on control, power, and wealth. And now in his own garden, a ragged alien girl spoke as if she knew his future better than he did. "No," he said firmly, pulling Daniel behind him. "You will not come near him again." The girl's face grew pale. For the first time, fear flashed in her glowing eyes. But instead of begging, she whispered something strange. "Then you have chosen blindness. But the storm will not wait for your permission." Her words sent a shiver through the air. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "Dad, please." "She's the only one who understands." Mr. Rayner's jaw tightened. He turned, dragging his son toward the house. But as they walked away, her final words followed him like a curse. "He will remember what I gave him, and when the sky burns, you will remember me too." That night, Mr. Rayner locked every door and every window. He ordered guards to patrol the mansion. He told himself it was to keep her away, but deep inside he knew the truth. It was not the girl he feared most. It was the storm she spoke of. Because for the first time in years, Mr. Rayner, wealthy, powerful, untouchable, felt helpless. And he knew this was only the beginning. The mansion seemed colder the next day. Mr. Rayner walked through the wide halls, but his thoughts were still outside in the garden, replaying the strange girl's words. Hunters, storm, survival. He tried to dismiss them as lies, yet deep in his chest unease grew like a shadow. Daniel was quiet all morning. He did not argue with his father, but his silence was heavy. He sat by the window, staring out at the trees as if waiting for someone. Mr. Rayner noticed. He wanted to tell Daniel to forget the girl, to stop thinking about her. But something inside him hesitated. He could forbid meetings, he could lock the doors, but he could not lock his son's mind. That evening, as the sun disappeared, Daniel slipped away again. This time, Mr. Rayner did not follow immediately. Instead, he waited in the dark corner of the balcony, watching from above. The girl was already there, sitting on the grass, weak and tired. But when Daniel arrived, her silver eyes brightened. She smiled faintly as if his presence gave her strength. Mr. Rayner leaned forward, listening. Daniel sat close to her. "You said the storm is coming," he whispered. "What did you mean?" The girl's face grew serious. She drew shapes in the dirt again, faster this time, as though time was running out. Circles became planets. Lines became paths across space. Stars appeared under her chalk-stained fingers. "My people once lived far from here," she began softly. "We built ships that sailed across the stars. We learned to read the flow of energy that binds all worlds together. But then the hunters came." Daniel frowned. "Hunters? What are they?" The girl's voice shook. "They are destroyers. They travel from system to system, feeding on weak worlds, tearing apart what they cannot control. They attacked my ship. Only I escaped." Daniel's eyes widened. "And now? They're coming here?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, they have already seen this world's light. They will follow it as they followed mine. Earth is not ready. Your weapons, your machines, your armies, they will all fall. But knowledge can give you a chance." Mr. Rayner's heart pounded as he listened. Her words sounded like madness, yet the way she spoke, quiet, sorrowful, certain, felt different from a lie. Daniel whispered, "Why me? Why not tell the grown-ups, the leaders?" The girl looked at him, her silver eyes glowing like moons. "Because they would never believe me. But you can see the patterns. Your mind connects them. I saw it the first moment you copied my symbols. You are rare. You can learn what adults cannot." Daniel's small hands shook as he traced the symbols she drew. "But I'm just a kid," she leaned closer. "You are more than that. And one day you will see it too." Above them, hidden in the shadows of the balcony, Mr. Rayner felt his chest tighten. A mix of fear and strange pride battled inside him. His son, rare, chosen. Could this fragile alien girl truly see something in him that the world could not? But then another thought cut through him. If what she said was true, then his boy was not safe at all. If hunters were coming, then Daniel was already a target. He wanted to storm down and drag Daniel away again. Yet his feet did not move. Something kept him rooted. Curiosity, or maybe the fear of silencing something too important to ignore. The girl continued, her voice barely above a whisper. "Look at this." She drew a spiral of stars, then tapped the center. "This is your sun. Around it are the paths of your planets. But there," she pointed farther out, "is the door, a place where energy flows stronger than anywhere else. If you learn to read it, you can protect your world. But if the hunters find it first, they will use it against you." Daniel's eyes shone with wonder. "A door, you mean? Like a gateway?" Yes, she said. A gateway between stars. It is how they move so quickly. And one day you will have to stop them. Daniel's lips parted, but no words came. He looked frightened now. Me stop them? The girl gave a sad smile. Not today. Not tomorrow. But when the time comes, you will remember. That is why I must teach you. Even if your father hates me, even if I vanish tomorrow, you must remember. At those words, Mr. Rayner felt as though she was speaking directly to him. His chest burned with anger, yet also with fear. Hate her?
He did not hate her. He feared what she meant for his son's future. Suddenly, the girl coughed, weak and trembling.
Daniel reached out, alarmed. You're sick. She shook her head. I will survive, but I cannot stay hidden forever. They are searching even now. When the sky burns, you must be ready. Her silver eyes lifted to the heavens as though she could already see flames falling from the stars. Daniel followed her gaze, then whispered, I'll learn. I promise. The girl smiled faintly, her fragile body shaking with exhaustion. Good. Then there is hope. From the balcony, Mr. Rayner finally stepped back into the shadows. He could not bear more. His mind was torn in two. One part of him wanted to protect his son by ending this madness, throwing the girl far away, locking Daniel inside safe walls. But the other part, the part that had seen the chalk glow, the part that had felt her words echo in his chest, whispered something terrifying. What if she is telling the truth? And in that question, Mr. Rayner realized something he had never admitted before. Money could not buy safety. Power could not stop what came from the stars. And for the first time in his life, he understood. He might need her as much as Daniel did. For days, Mr. Rayner tried to convince himself the girl was just a sick runaway with a strange imagination. He buried himself in his work, in meetings, in phone calls. But no matter how many contracts he signed, no matter how many zeros appeared on his bank statements, her voice echoed in his mind. When the sky burns, you must be ready. At night, sleep gave him no rest. He dreamed of stars collapsing, of fire raining from above, of silver eyes staring through the darkness. Each morning he woke in sweat, shaken by fears he could not name. And Daniel, his son, was changing. The boy who once played with toys and puzzles now spent hours scribbling strange shapes on paper. Spirals, triangles, maps of stars. Sometimes he spoke words that were not English. Other times he asked questions so deep even scientists would struggle to answer. Mr. Rayner watched him with pride and fear. His son was growing. But into what? One evening, as golden light filled the garden, Mr. Rayner finally confronted Daniel. You're still meeting her, aren't you? He asked quietly. Daniel's hands froze over the notebook he was writing in. His eyes lowered, guilty but determined. Dad, she's not bad. She's helping me. You don't understand. Mr. Rayner's jaw tightened. Then help me understand, why her? Why not your teachers, your books? Daniel looked up, his young face serious in a way that frightened his father. Because they don't know what's coming, she does. And she's teaching me things nobody else can. Mr. Rayner's chest tightened. He wanted to yell, to remind Daniel that he was just a child. But the words died in his throat. Daniel's eyes were burning with the same silver determination he had seen in the girl. That was when Mr. Rayner realized something. He was no longer fighting just a homeless alien girl. He was fighting his own son's choice. That night he walked alone through the mansion halls, deep in thought. His life had always been built on decisions, deals, contracts, risks. But this choice was different. Should he tear the girl away from Daniel, protecting his son from the unknown? Or should he trust her warnings and risk everything by letting her continue? The weight of fatherhood pressed heavy on him. Every instinct screamed to protect Daniel from danger. Yet in his heart he knew danger was already here, lurking in the shadows of the sky, waiting to reveal itself. The next day the world outside began to shift. It started small, strange lights in the night sky. News reports spoke of meteors, but the lights did not fall. They moved slowly, deliberately. Then came the strangers. Men in dark suits appeared in the city, asking questions about unusual sightings. They carried no badges, yet walked with authority. Their eyes seemed too sharp, their smiles too thin. One even came to the mansion gates, asking if anyone had seen a girl foreign-looking, unusual. Mr. Rayner told the guards to send him away, but his hands trembled afterward. Were these men human, or were they the hunters she had spoken of? That night Daniel was waiting in the garden again, notebook in hand. The girl sat beside him, weaker than before, her pale skin glowing faintly in the moonlight. Mr. Rayner stepped into the open, no longer hiding. Both Daniel and the girl looked up. "Why do you keep coming back?" he asked, his voice heavy. "Why risk being caught?" The girl's silver eyes met his. "Because if I do not, your son will never be ready. And if he is not ready, then neither will your world." Her words hung in the air like a blade. Daniel turned quickly to his father. "Dad, please. You saw the lights. You saw the men. It's real. She's telling the truth." Mr. Rayner stared at them both. His whole life money had been his shield. But now, as he looked at his son clutching those strange symbols and at the fragile girl warning of storms, he felt wealth meant nothing. What good was gold when the sky itself might fall? Slowly he took a step closer. "If what you say is true," he said to the girl, "then why him? Why my son? Why burden a child with this?" Her voice softened. "Because he is not ordinary. His mind connects patterns your people cannot see. He is rare, and the hunters will sense that too. Whether you like it or not, he is already chosen." Mr. Rayner's heart pounded. He wanted to refuse, to say no, to drag Daniel away. But deep down he knew. The more he resisted, the more his son would fight against him. For the first time in years he felt powerless. Not to the girl, but to fate itself. The garden was silent. The night air carried only the sound of wind through the trees. Finally Mr. Rayner spoke, his voice low, heavy but steady. "If I allow this, if I let you teach him, then you will also answer to me. You will not take him from me. You will not harm him. Do you understand?" The girl bowed her head. "I understand. I only want him to survive, and perhaps through him, your world too." Daniel's eyes widened with hope. "Dad, does this mean—" Mr. Rayner closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them. "It means I am choosing to believe for now. But if I see one sign that this is wrong—" He paused, his voice sharp. "Then it ends." The girl nodded, weak but resolute. Daniel smiled, relief flooding his young face. For the first time, Mr. Rayner did not drag his son away. Instead, he stood nearby, watching as the alien girl began to draw again, this time slower, almost ceremonial. Her silver eyes glowed faintly as she whispered, "Then the lessons continue." And in that moment, Mr. Rayner realized he had made his choice. Not because he trusted her fully, but because deep inside, he feared she was right. The hunters were coming, and wealth alone could not stop them. For a few days after Mr. Rayner made his choice, things in the mansion felt strangely calm. The alien girl continued to teach Daniel in the garden. Mr. Rayner often stood nearby, silent, watching. She was weaker now, her thin frame trembling often, but her mind was sharp. She drew more patterns, more spirals, more maps of stars. Daniel absorbed them quickly, his notebook filling with symbols no human teacher had ever written. But the peace was fragile, because outside the mansion walls, something new was stirring. It began with whispers. Servants spoke of strangers roaming the streets at night. Neighbors saw tall men in dark coats standing too long at corners, staring at the sky. Some even said their reflections in windows looked wrong, like their faces were not fully real. Then came the silence. Birds that usually filled the garden with song vanished. Dogs in the neighborhood howled through the night, refusing to quiet. Mr. Rayner noticed. He felt it in the air. A heaviness, as though something unseen was pressing down on the city. And deep inside, he knew. The girl had warned him. The hunters were near. One evening, the mansion gates rang. A group of men in dark suits stood outside, faces pale, smiles too perfect. Their leader spoke with a flat, cold voice. "We are searching for a missing person," he said. "A young girl. Unusual appearance. Thin, pale, strange eyes. Have you seen her?" The guards shook their heads, denying it. Mr. Rayner ordered them to leave, his voice firm, but as the gates closed, he caught sight of their eyes. Too sharp, glowing faintly under the light. His stomach twisted. They weren't just men. That night, Mr. Rayner gathered Daniel and the girl in his study. "They know you're here," he said sharply to her. "Who are they, truly?" The girl sat quietly, her silver eyes heavy with sadness. "They are the hunters I spoke of. They wear human skins to walk among you, but their hearts are not human. They can smell me. They can smell knowledge." Daniel shivered. What do they want? Her voice was low. To erase me. To erase everything I carry. And if they find me with you, they will erase your world too. Mr. Rayner's fist clenched. He was a man used to controlling threats. Business rivals, greedy officials, dangerous deals. But this was different. These were predators not bound by laws or money, and they were already watching. Over the next days, shadows followed them. Cars idled too long near the gates. Dark figures lingered at the edge of the street. And once, when Mr. Rayner returned from the city, he swore he saw one of the men standing on a rooftop, watching the mansion silently. Fear crawled into every corner of his life. Inside, Daniel tried to remain brave, but Mr. Rayner noticed how his hand shook when he wrote the alien symbols. He noticed how the girl's silver eyes dimmed each night as if her strength was running out. One evening, Daniel asked quietly, "Dad, what if they come inside? What if they take her?" Mr. Rayner looked at his son, then at the pale girl sitting by the fire, her thin hands clutching the notebook. "They won't," he said firmly, but inside, he doubted his own words. The next night, the mansion shook, not from footsteps, not from a storm, but from a sound that seemed to come from the sky itself, a low hum like metal grinding against stone. Lights flickered. Glass rattled. Daniel rushed to the window. Above the city, strange shapes moved in the clouds, dark, enormous, shifting like shadows alive. "They're here," the girl whispered, her silver eyes glowing brighter than ever. Mr. Rayner grabbed Daniel's shoulder. "Stay away from the windows." But Daniel's eyes were wide with awe, not fear. "Dad, it's them." The girl rose unsteadily, her voice trembling but strong. "They know where I am. They will come for me. And they will not stop until they break these walls." Mr. Rayner's chest tightened. His wealth, his mansion, his guards, none of it mattered now. He could not buy safety. He could not bribe shadows in the sky. All he had was a choice. Protect the girl, or hand her over. The mansion lights flickered again. Outside, the gates groaned as if pushed by invisible hands. Daniel clutched his father's arm. "Dad, don't let them take her. She's the only one who can help us." The girl stepped forward, weak but defiant. "If they take me, your son may still live. If I stay, they will hunt him too." Her words hit like a knife. She was offering herself as a sacrifice, but Daniel shook his head fiercely. "No, you can't leave. You have to finish teaching me." Mr. Rayner stood frozen between them. His son on one side, desperate and brave, the alien girl on the other, fragile yet carrying knowledge of the stars. And outside, hunters who wore human skins pressing closer with every moment. His whole life, choices had been about money, power, profit. But now his choice was about survival, about his son, about humanity itself. He clenched his fists. His voice came out low but steady. "Then we fight. We hide her. We keep her safe. No one takes my son's future away." The girl's silver eyes widened. For the first time, she looked at him not with sadness but with respect. Daniel gripped his father's hand tightly. And outside, the mansion walls trembled again as shadows in the sky grew darker. The hunters had arrived. The night sky glowed with strange lights. Shadows moved across the clouds, heavy and unnatural, like giant wings spreading over the city. Inside the mansion, the air felt thick as if the very walls were holding their breath. Mr. Rayner stood in the study with his son, Daniel, and the alien girl. Guards patrolled outside, but he knew ordinary men could not stop what was coming. His fortune, his power, his influence, none of it mattered anymore. The girl's silver eyes glimmered faintly in the dark room. She looked weaker than ever, her pale face almost transparent, but her voice was steady. "They are here," she whispered. "They will break through soon." Daniel clutched his notebook tightly. His young hands shook, but his eyes were bright. "Then we have to fight them. Tell me what to do." The girl turned to him, her voice soft yet urgent. "Knowledge is your weapon. Not fists, not guns. Tonight you will learn the last pattern. The key." Mr. Rayner's heart pounded. "What key? What are you talking about?" The girl's glowing eyes shifted toward him. "The key to survival. The key to turning their own power against them. But it must be taught to him now, before they arrive." The house trembled as the gates outside groaned. The guards shouted, but their voices were cut short, swallowed by an unnatural silence. Daniel's face paled. "They're here already." The girl knelt on the floor, pulling a piece of broken chalk from her pocket. With trembling hands, she drew a large spiral across the polished wood. Symbols branched out from it, weaving into a web of circles and arrows. "This is the final pattern," she said. "It is not only knowledge, it is a shield. If Daniel learns it, he can bend the flow of their energy. He can protect you. He can protect your world." Mr. Rayner stepped forward, his voice sharp. "You mean to put this burden on a child? He's only 10 years old." The girl's voice grew firm. "He is more than a child. He was chosen by his own mind. He can see what others cannot. He must be the one." Daniel's small voice broke through. "Dad, let me try, please." Mr. Rayner froze, staring at his son. His boy's face was serious, braver than he had ever seen it. This was no longer just his little child. It was someone standing at the edge of something far greater. The walls shook again. A shadow passed across the window, blocking out the moonlight. The hunters were circling, waiting to strike. The girl's voice grew weaker, but her eyes burned like silver fire. "Daniel, repeat after me." She touched the spiral with her thin fingers, whispering strange words, soft, rhythmic, like a song from another world. Daniel bent down, copying her hand movements, repeating every word carefully. His voice trembled at first, but soon it grew stronger, echoing through the room. Mr. Rayner watched in silence, torn between fear and awe. As Daniel spoke the final word, the spiral on the floor glowed faintly. Light spread across the room, soft but steady, wrapping them in a circle of shimmering energy. The girl exhaled deeply, her weak body shaking. "It is done. For now they cannot enter." Mr. Rayner touched the glowing barrier. It pulsed warmly under his hand like a heartbeat. He turned to the girl, his voice filled with disbelief. You gave him power." Her eyes dimmed, exhaustion pulling at her. "Not power, responsibility. This shield will not last forever. But it will give you time. Enough time for him to grow, to learn, to be ready when they return." Daniel's eyes widened. "When they return, you mean this isn't over?" The girl gave a faint, sad smile. "The hunters never stop. But now you carry the key. One day you will finish what I could not." Mr. Rayner's chest tightened. He had spent his life protecting his son with walls, money, and control. But now he realized protection meant more than safety. It meant preparing him for battles even a father could not fight. Outside, the shadows pressed against the barrier, their forms shifting like liquid darkness. Their whispers scratched at the windows, inhuman and cold, but they did not break through. The shield held for now. The girl collapsed to her knees, her silver eyes fading. Daniel rushed to catch her. "No, don't go." "You have to stay." She touched his cheek gently, her hand trembling.
"I have given you all I can."
"The rest is yours to carry." Mr. Rayner knelt beside them, his voice rough. "You saved us. You saved him. Why help us at all?" Her fading eyes turned toward him. "Because humanity has always been more than it believes, and because your son is proof of that." Her voice grew softer, almost a whisper. "Take care of him, for through him, your world will endure." And with that, her silver light dimmed completely. Her body went still, fragile as glass. Daniel's tears fell onto the spiral, his voice breaking. "She can't be gone. She can't." Mr. Rayner pulled him close, his own throat tight. He had lost people before, but this loss felt different, because now he understood. The alien girl had not just taught Daniel. She had given him and all of humanity a future. The shadows outside hissed and faded back into the sky. The strange hum vanished. The mansion grew still again. The barrier slowly dimmed, leaving only the chalk spiral glowing faintly on the floor. Mr. Rayner placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. "She's gone, but her gift remains, and we'll make sure it wasn't wasted." Daniel wiped his tears, determination hardening his young face. "I'll learn it all, Dad. I'll finish what she started, for her, and for us." Mr. Rayner nodded, pride and fear mixing in his chest. For the first time, he was not leading his son. He was following him into a future written in stars. He looked at the glowing spiral, then at the night sky beyond the window, and with a quiet, heavy voice, he whispered, "This is only the beginning."